Bowers Game Corner presents Gen Con Video Bonanza 2016. Brought to you by Gutshot Games and their Gen Con release, Headhunters, a collectible card game and a collectible toy. And Shoot Again Games, makers of Looting Atlantis and Conspiracy. Look for Pinball Showdown on Kickstarter soon. Also brought to you by the generous support of these companies and our fantastic Kickstarter backers.
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for more of our Gen Con Bonanza Explosion Blowout coverage. We are at the LFG booth right now. We're about to talk to Costello, who's going to tell us about a game that he created, Orphans and Ashes. What's Orphans and Ashes?
It's the strategic game of orphan burning.
All right. How does it work? What's the deal? This is the unofficial second version. Fill us in.
All right, so it is based on Looking for Group, which is a webcomic that we've been publishing 2 pages a week for 9 years. So we've got books and we've got a whole lot of merchandise about it, but we finally broken into the tabletop gaming, and it's actually very much in theme with the comic. The comic has many orphans, it has lots of fires, we just put them together. So in the game, you'll be playing either as Kale, who is kind of the hero of the comic. He's the Elven Ranger, he's the righteous hero. He believes for some reason that there is good in the world. Or you can play as his best frenemy, Richard, who is an undead warlock who is constantly trying to prove Kale wrong about that. So this is a great example of one of their adventures. They come across a burning orphanage. Kale's like, I've got to save these orphans, and runs inside. And Richard's like, orphans? Don't mind if I do. Because Richard's evil magic is fueled by the souls of the innocent. So this is like an oil spill to him. It's a waste of a natural resource. He's competing with the yellow fire to kill them with his magical red fire.
And you were telling me a little story earlier that this was released before, but now this is the first time with this new edition. What do you mean by that?
All right, so the original edition was supposed to look like this, but the manufacturer at the last minute told us that he couldn't get us the miniatures, which are a very important part of the game.
Thanks, long pack.
Can you get me a bag of the miniatures, just so I can show off what they can do together? Just to show you how important the miniatures are to the game. So we replaced them at the last minute with meeples from Meeple Source, which is the only reason we had any kind of presence with it last year, but this year is its real first launch. So we were supposed to have these really boss miniatures of Richard and Kale, and then guaranteed more orphans than you'll get in any other game at Gen Con. And so none of this was in there. It was just the tiles, because it's a tile laying game, and the rule book. So if you're playing as Kale, you're going into the rooms and you're saying, with me, orphans, and you're physically carrying them. So again, the components were very important to the game. So Kale can safely carry about 6 orphans, but the rule is, however many orphans the player can balance on Kale is how many you can carry to safety, and you get a point per orphan you get to safety. But if you're moving along and you drop one of them, you killed him. You just killed that orphan. And then the other component are the fires and swooshes, which again are interactive with the pieces. Every piece has a plug in the base to show you when it's literally on fire. So that's how Richard wins. He walks into the room when Kale's not looking, and he sets the orphans on fire. Orphans have 2 hit points, so once you've managed to put 2 fire tokens on the same orphan, Richard scores a point. And I said, like, when Kale's not looking. So line of sight is an important part of this game, because it becomes a cat and mouse thing, where Kale is running in, trying to save orphans, and then get them to an exit, but never losing sight of Richard, because as soon as Kale's not looking at Richard, Richard can use his evil magic and kill people. So the game usually works with Richard running as far away from Kale as he can and getting as many points as he can quickly, while Kale has to do the long run of gathering up orphans, getting them to the door. So Kale scores in clumps, Richard scores gradually, and the players really have to just compete head-to-head and constantly be aware of where the other guy is. So as much fun as it is to just be like, it's the strategic game of orphan burning, there is literally a lot of strategy. Every turn, there are a lot of decisions that the players have to make.
How long is it, and player count? 2 players, you said that. But how long does the game normally run?
So it is a 2-player game. The game runs for 45 minutes to half an hour. That's if you use the tile-laying rules that come in the game. We're running demos, and we've just pre-laid out an orphanage. And if you do that, you can probably cut it down to about half an hour.
If people are more interested in picking up Orphans and Ashes, where can we steer them towards?
You go to lfg.co or lookingforgroup.com, and there is a shop link on the board. No? What? Yes, we do. We don't have lfg.com. That's a bank. But lookingforgroup.com, lfg.co.
All right. Thank you very much, Costello. That looks really cool. Not on my radar before, but I think it definitely is now. If you're enjoying this Gen Con coverage, please be sure to click on the subscribe button down below and in the comments below. Let me know there is an orphan on fire. You're walking by. What do you do?
Well, I would help him. I'm a decent human being in real life. This is just a game.
Oh, wait. I actually meant orphanage, not an orphan.
Okay.
That's a big difference between a building and a person, I suppose.
One of them's full of orphans.
Yes.
I would call the fire department.
Okay. Yeah, likewise. That's probably what I do.
Is there any other option?
I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if there is any other option. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.
This was brought to you by Headhunters from Gunshot Games, Pinball Showdown from Shoot Again Games, these great companies, and fans like you.